Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Futures. As you can see, I'm not at home. I'm currently in a hotel in Melbourne. And this video and my next one will have to be from hotel room, so I'm sorry about that in advance, but I'm out here because I'm doing ESL Challenge in Melbourne next weekend. Came a little bit early so I can see family and all the rest. So yeah, apologies that I'm in the hotel room, but hopefully it's okay. The camera's perched on a lamp and the lighting is weird, so it keeps going all flicky, but like it keeps changing the brightness. Hopefully it's okay, whatever. Speaking of okay, did pretty good in the IEM Chengdu playoffs, top 11%, another 11% finish, just shy of that top 10%. It's like the second one in like 3 games it's been a top 11%er, which is a little sad, but still, you can't really complain about 11%. I did change my draft at the last second. As you can see, I swapped out Nico from Monacy, downgraded Brokey to Rain. Maybe a mistake, hard to say. Obviously Brokey did really well, the MVP, but Nico also didn't do anywhere near as well as Monacy, so I don't know. If they got through to the grand final, if G2 had beat Mouse, which if Nextra had won that 1v1, they were so close, then I feel that maybe this would have been a top 5% finish, definitely, but it's fine. Can't complain about 11%. Still puts me at number 1 on the leaderboard. Now I've got a little bit of distance, the tiniest bit of distance between me and number 2. P2 has fallen off a little bit. We've got Striker now as my direct competition, but I'm feeling like I can slowly start to extend this lead as long as I keep having the sort of success I have so far. But I wanted to say, you guys are insane at fantasy. Like, there's 20 of you who are better or doing better than me this season. That's a quarter of the people that have joined this league, so I'm kind of a little bit humbled, but also it's a little reassuring in a way that, you know, people that are in a chance to win for the season come to my videos for a bit of advice. That's pretty neat. So yeah, well done. This guy number 1 is potentially gonna win. He's top 5, so good luck. I hope you do win. I think next season I might do some prizes or something for my league just to, you know, have a bit of fun, but for now I'll just, you know, get it going, and the next season we can talk about some prizes. So pre-league for fantasy this season is only 3 events. There's 2 groups per game rather than 1 game per group, 1 group per game, whatever, you know what I mean. They're combining Group A and Group B, combining Group C and Group D, and even before they combined it, it was actually often viable to go for like a 2-2 or 2-1-1 kind of draft. I think with the split between Group A and Group B into the 1 game, it's actually going to allow you to do some pretty cool things with drafts. However, saying that, there is padding, which means upper final, we get 3 rounds padding. Lower final, we get 2 rounds padding. That's a lot of padding, and when we look at some of the teams that are playing here and the runs that they have, I think it's 100% worth trying to invest into a couple of really good teams here, because we look at the way that these brackets look. Let's start with Group A. This top side is really spooky. I know it's FAZE, but it's the group stage FAZE. Not to mention that FAZE are tired. FAZE are tired. Yeah, they just won Chengdu, but they've been doing every event all deep, and I just don't think they're gonna be the best FAZE possible coming into this. I don't expect them to go flawless. I think they probably drop this game here. I don't think they get to the upper final. Maybe they'll surprise me just because it's FAZE, but I just felt their focus is not gonna be 100% here. So I'd consider Astralis as a possible contender, but even Eternal Fire, this is a really hard side to call. And so I'd probably be trying to avoid putting too much investment here. Instead, I'd be looking at VP. This feels so free for VP, this bottom side. Like, they beat Fnatic. Fnatic are not looking good with this new lineup. They beat 3D Max all Saw. I don't even know which one of these teams is gonna win this. It should be Saw, but 3D Max beat them the other day as well, so I'm not sure how that one pans out, but I do know that VP, with Electronic in the mix, that's a free run to the upper final, if I ever saw it. VP a must pick in Group A. Group B is the same story with Vitality. Sharks, their qualification for this was kind of crazy. I'm not sure they even should have won their game, so I don't see them beating any serious team here. They could definitely pick up some wins against maybe like a Tyloo or an M80, but Vitality, free run. You gotta pick Vitality. Even if it's just 1 member, it's so free. This side should be free, you would think, like for G2. G2 are gonna destroy Tyloo, and they should be favored against either Falcons or Mongols, but these are X Factor teams. Mongols beat, they upset everyone. And Falcons, I'm not ready to doubt them yet. I think Dupree's a great addition to this team. We haven't really seen them play with him in the squad, so I'm not really sure what to expect. I know they lost like a best of 1 qualifier the other day, but I wouldn't read into that sort of thing. This is best of 3, this is LAN, and it's snappy, and I don't want to run him off yet. So I feel like Falcons could actually do some damage here. But I think the key thing is, even if you pick players from Falcons or G2 and they don't win this upper semi, you're going to farm against the other teams here. So I think Group B, I think the way you should approach this is 2 players maximum from Group A and 3 players from Group B. Because if you're on a worse team here, you've got more chance of doing better than a worse team here. I know, I hope that makes sense. Group B is free. Pick Vitality, pick VP, no issues. Right, I want to start by talking about Karrigan, because Karrigan is in about half of the teams currently drafted, and I gotta say, I think he's a terrible choice. I think if you've got Karrigan in your team, you should remove him and consider different options. The reason for this is, yes, it's FaZe. Yes, they're the #1 team in the world, but they've got a difficult run. I've already put kind of the pitch on that. I think their run is bad and they're probably a bad team to draft. But also for Karrigan in particular, this is a guy that doesn't go positive very often. And with the teams that FaZe have to play in particular, we've got Imperial and then either Eternal Fire or Astralis, Karrigan is not going to be farming here. You could be looking at a player like Huxi, you could be looking like a player like Snappy, a player like literally anyone else that's kind of in that same price range. They're gonna farm more than Karrigan is because of the opponents that they have to face. I think that's worth noting, and because of that, I would urge you to not pick Karrigan. I think with FaZe in particular, with their run and with their pricing, the only player I'd recommend is Rain. I think everyone else is just a little bit too expensive with the run that they have. I think Frozen in particular is way too costly. I think even Brookie is too expensive. But Rain at 203 is still viable and he's been in really good form. But because FaZe have a difficult run and because I think that they're going to be a little bit more laid back, I'd avoid them. G2, however, I think that they have a really nice run, right? They've got Tyloo, which is going to be the most one-sided game of them all as their opening game. That's a game that Huxi can farm, it's a game that Nico can farm, it's a game that Hunter can farm, Nexla can farm it. I think the only player I'd avoid is m0NESY because he's too expensive, despite him being insane. I don't think it's a good choice here, just because I think G2 have an easy run, and it's best not to overinvest in a team that's just gonna, blitz their way through, when you could save that, 20 to 30k and put it, somewhere else. So I'd be looking at Hunter, I'd be looking at Nico, I'd be looking at Huxi. Vitality, similar situation, avoid Zywoo, but I think Spinks, a great choice. I think I'd get him over Flamesy every day for that extra 1,000. That doesn't seem like a smart move to get Flamesy when Spinks is right there. I think Spinks is a more well-rounded player and won't cost you if he has a bad game. Mezzy and Apex, obviously get Mezzy if you can, but Apex is still a fine choice, and I think his form has actually been really good in the last 6 to 12 months, so I think he's still a good choice, and with their run, his aggressive playstyle definitely has room to get points. Eternal Fire, I think with their run it's difficult. Obviously we've got Astralis as the opener, and then you've probably got FaZe, so I'd probably avoid them. If they go lower bracket in the second round, that's actually decent for them, and maybe Major is a good choice, maybe Calix or Vicadia is a good choice, but I'd probably still not invest here when you can get better players, or players that are at least gonna have better runs from other teams for the same prices. Like VP, who are pretty much pound for pound the same price as Eternal Fire, weirdly, except they don't have a real cheap IGL. And I think VP are a brilliant choice. I'm going to be drafting VP. I think Norbert is the must pick for this event at 197 with VP's run. But I don't think you can really go wrong here, except for maybe Flit. I don't know. Flit doesn't seem like a bad choice ever, but he's expensive. And I think when you can get Jade Electronic for like 10k less, it makes it harder to justify Flit, especially with the cost of a lot of other good teams being quite expensive. Yeah, I'd probably avoid Flit, but the rest are all good choices. Astralis, Device is 208. I actually think he's a really good choice. I think Astralis are an exciting team at the moment, but again, that side of the bracket is kind of scary. They are going to lose one of those games, maybe, or they just blitz the whole way through, in which case getting Device would be sick. Device, bro, that's a great combo. Something to think about. I know Falcons have not been doing good. I know they just lost, open qualifiers, but it's all best of 1. That's online. We're talking LAN. We're talking snappy hauling. We've got Dupree in the mix, who's been in insane form. We've got major winners. We got a good team here. and we've got good prices. However, because of that question mark that's over this team, Dupree, I'd avoid. So in fact, the only players I would pick here are Snappy, because he's so cheap. You know, he gives you 10k more to spend than Hooksy does. You know, 6k more than Carrigan does. Snappy's a good choice, good eco-friendly role, and Madden maybe at 194. And only because this team has an easy run. Even if they lose those Mongols, they farm it back against Tyloo, but I think they should beat Mongols. Either way, I think Falcons isn't a bad choice. I think a lot of people are going to sleep on them, except for Snappy. People are going to pick Snappy. I'm probably going to pick Snappy. He's a good choice. Imperial have such a hard run. It's hard to pick this team. Henny's pretty cheap though, so maybe you want to, but I'm not sure. This is a long shot team. Mongols are a good choice. Again, I think just because they definitely have a good chance to beat Falcons. It's an easy group. They'll make it through. I don't know if they make it through top 3. I think when you want to capitalize on padding, it might not be worth it, but this is an upset team that will upset. I think we're getting into weird territory now. Thor probably beats 3D Max. Roman's a very cheap IGL, but why would you get him when you can get Ecstasies? Or Snappy? Even Nafany. Remember BetBoom, they've got M80 as their first game, which I think they can win. Yeah, I'm not sure about Thor. I think I'd be looking at BetBoom if I'm looking at these sort of teams who are cheaper per player and have an easier run, because I think they beat M80, and Zorte at 197 is cheap. Fnatic, no. 3D Max, already said my piece. M80, I want to see this team play before I pick them. Wow, Slacks is cheap. Too many question marks. Definitely not, definitely not. So I've already kind of, I think, hinted at where I want to go with my draft. I do want to say, I'm going to do a 2-2-1 draft, which you don't have to do, and actually might not even be the best way to do this. It's just, I feel that the runs that Vitality and VP have are so strong that it makes sense to double up on both of them. I think you've got to double up on one of them at the very least. That would be my biggest bit of advice from this, is that double up on one of those. And Vitality are probably the safer one because of it's kind of honeymoon period for VP, and VP's group is slightly more difficult. They definitely have a harder upper final game, whereas Vitality versus G2, probably. Let's draft. Not picking FaZe, not picking G2. We're starting with Vitality. I think Spinks is the choice from this team. I'm going to be going with Apex. I prefer Mezzy, but I don't have the money. It's 3k difference, but it's just not enough to get him. But Apex, I think, still does well, particularly against lower ranked teams, so I don't mind him at all. I'm then going to be grabbing my budget pick, which is Snappy. I already mentioned I think Snappy is the best budget pick here. He also has insane activation on eco-friendly. I think his numbers are a little skewed on the rolls and stuff at the moment, but even before they were skewed, he had like a huge percentage chance of getting eco-friendly. So I think he's just a really good budget choice, and they have an easy side of the group that I don't mind that being where my budget comes from, especially because I'm relying on padding from the other two teams. Let's talk Fifi. Milvit, must pick, have to get him. 197, bargain. Great support activation. We can do some stuff here, right? Jame or Electronic, that is the question. And I want to go Electronic. I think Jame is probably, in most cases, a slightly better choice. But because VP are versing low-ranked teams, we're talking Fnatic, then we're talking either 3D Max or Saw, I think that's an opportunity for Electronic to really get us some points. I think that I'm banking on the honeymoon period for VP with Electronic, and he's such a huge upgrade over Mia that, yeah, I want to give him a go. This is my team. Protoss, we're on StarCraft now. I played a lot of StarCraft when I was younger. Shout out StarCraft 1. Yeah, I feel kind of good about this. The roles are all quite good. I've got a lot of strong players, and I'm banking on a lot of points being made from the padding. VP, Vitality, free runs, Snappy to set me up and, you know, use good boosters. Feels pretty good. Let me know how you're doing. As always, let me know how you're doing. Make sure you join the league. I'll pin it again if you haven't already. Yeah, hope you're all enjoying the season so far. Let me know your drafts, and good luck as always.